Hi everyone! I just finished my sketchbook. If you're new here, my name is Sally and I'm a mixed media artist in Australia. And if you're not new here, welcome back. I am so shocked that I finished this, and it took me 4 months exactly to finish this sketchbook. Yeah, my last one took me 11 months. So I feel like I flew through this one. And even just looking at the covers, you can see like this is so beat up, and this is looks pretty much new still. I think I was working in it one day and I realized I only had like 3 spreads left, and I was not expecting to finish it so fast. So let's have a look through it and see what I made. So I've got a couple of little stickers on the front of my sketchbook, and one is the goth sticker that I made to give out with one of the issues of my zine, and then the other one is just a little freebie that I give out with orders for my website, and then I got a little book of cat stickers from the post office. So yeah, my last sketchbook took me 11 months to finish, and this one was 4 months exactly, which was quite shocking. And on the first page, I did a self-portrait in gouache, and I made a video about that. And then we started with some sketches of some people I saw at the market I was vending at in Wandon. And then I did some portraits of Hedy Lamarr just using one paint, an indigo watercolor, and I absolutely love the way these turned out. And after I'd finished painting the portraits, I just did a little shape of a leaf sort of overlaid in a neon orange pencil, and absolutely love the way those turned out. This spread I actually did, it was right after Aaron Bushnell had passed away, and yeah, it was just a very emotional, difficult week. I think all of us who are staying up to date and engaged with current affairs have had moments and days like that constantly over the last 9 months. So this was just some very emotional portraits that I did in colored pencil. This was some concepts. I just worked on an album cover for a local band, and that was just some concept ideas. And then we have a spread. I was just doing some portraits in colored pencil. So this is all in color pencil, and I made a video about this as well. This was using a resource on Instagram that offers royalty-free portrait references. So really great portrait practice. And yeah, I made a video about that. I love working in color pencils. And this was some other like rough sketches. I was working on a new business card design, and I actually didn't go with that one at all. And then some rough portraits of Chris Cornell, because I got asked to contribute art to this upcoming event, and it's really exciting to be part of this for another year. I've participated before, and so I also made a video about this portrait. I did this portrait using Crayola crayons, and I was just testing it out because I wanted to sort of practice some poses and some ideas before I committed to actually painting the final piece, because it's going to be auctioned, so I wanted it to be good. And this is how it turned out, and I'm really stoked with it. I dropped it off to the organisers last week, and yeah, they're really stoked with it. So hopefully it raises lots of money at the auction on the 29th of June. And here is some concepts for my Garfield zine that I sent out to my Ko-fi members a couple of months ago now. And it was a really, really fun issue to do. And my Ko-fi members are amazing. Thank you all so much for all your support. It really helps out the channel, helps me keep making these videos. And it's a really great way to support me. All of that is linked in the description box down below. So check that out if you would like to get zines sent to you every month. And now we start with the 100 Heads Challenge. Now, I also did a video about this challenge and I completed this 100 Heads Challenge in 5 days. So I did 20 heads a day. It was really intense. And I think, I used up a lot of pages in my sketchbook. So this challenge is definitely one of the reasons why I got through this sketchbook so quickly. So the first page I did in Prismacolor Coal Erase pencil, and then I went in with fine liner sketches. Now this sketchbook is the Strathmore mixed media. I absolutely love this sketchbook. This is the second one I've used, and the paper is very lightly textured, but it's really fantastic with all different mediums. And you'll see through the sketchbook tour, I use crayons and paint and ink and color pencils and graphite and all sorts of things. And it handles everything really, really well. Alcohol markers, like everything. This paper's it's a dream. It's an expensive sketchbook, but it really brings me a lot of joy. And if you don't want to work in your sketchbook, if you don't like opening it up, then, what's the point? So yeah, I do treat myself. These ones were using the Crayola crayons again, and I just love the texture that they give. This page was graphite. I do have some fixative to spray on my pages. I went and bought it specifically for my sketchbook and I never use it. So there is some smudging on the pages. I don't really care too much. It's just a sketchbook. Like I'm not making finished prints or artwork or anything of these. Like this is just getting concepts down and practicing. So I don't really stress too much about that, but I do have a really good fixative that I just always forget to use. This spread of the 100 Heads was using Crayola Super Tip markers, and this was really fun to do the portraits this way. When I was doing this challenge was the weekend that Cowboy Carter came out, so I think that really helped me sort of sit in the studio and just listen to it over and over and over again. I had the perfect soundtrack. I love Beyonce. So yeah, it was a really fun challenge, and I recommend watching the full video that I did about it because I talk a lot about the inspiration and all that sort of thing. So if you're interested, I will link that up above. These pages I just did in different colored pencils, just using one color for each portrait. And the sketchbook sort of unofficially became like the portrait sketchbook because even though I tend to gravitate towards portraits and I love doing portraits more than anything, I just did so many in this sketchbook, and this challenge was obviously a big part of that. This spread was really fun. I used a neon orange gel pen, and then so I sketched with that and then went over the top with a black pencil. And I love how you can see the gel pen peeking through. And I actually really like sketching with ink because I don't have a chance to overthink it because you have to commit to the line. And that was my favorite one, number 58. This was my least favorite spread of the challenge. This was using felt tip markers. And then the next one, I used a black brush pen over just some swatches of my neon watercolor paints, which I think this was the only page that I used those watercolor paints in. In my last sketchbook, I used them a lot. completing art challenges is a really great way to practice and stretch yourself and learn new things. And the references for this were so fantastic. They were from Little Star Nerd's Pinterest board, and I will link that down below, as well as my Pinterest. I'll link because a lot of the pages and the things that I worked on in this sketchbook were from my Pinterest boards. These ones I wanted to do complementary colours, so I just did the portrait in a light and a darker shade of the same colour, and then did a complementary colour in the background, just in colour pencils, and I really like the way these turned out too. They look good as a whole spread, I think. And then the last spread for the 100 heads challenge that I completed in 5 days. I also did these in coloured pencils, but just using neutral shades. And yeah, it was a really fun, hectic, busy 5 days. And I got a lot of portrait practice in, and I really, really loved it. 100. So then I sort of had this idea to do little illustrations with sayings around them. I think I was thinking about things to put in the zine, and I started off doing just sort of little words that meant something to me, and then I went into doing song lyrics, and then I sort of became obsessed with that, and then I did heaps of that. So I sort of, with the skulls, I sort of was doing little sayings and sentences, and then on the right hand side, it was lyrics from Cowboy Carter, because it was all I was listening to. And then this sort of came from that idea, and I added color, and this was all lyrics from Cowboy Carter as well. And these were really, really fun to make. I'm quite interested in 60s and 70s, like psychedelic art, specifically music posters and flyers from the time. And this sort of reminded me of that. There's sort of bright primary colors and graphic portraits. Like I did all of this in Crayola super tip markers and inks. Little break to a snuggle, Evie. She's so beautiful. So yeah, I was just so inspired by this, and I ran with it. So I did the previous page, I did this spread, I did this spread. This was another video that I made about drawing the first things that come up on your Pinterest homepage. So go check that out too. I did this spread doing the same kind of idea. I was just so into it. These were really, really fun to make. Anything that I was listening to at the time, I would just pick a lyric from whatever song was on while I was drawing the picture and put it into the piece. And they were really, really fun to make. And I ended up doing a zine sort of loosely based around that idea with illustrations and song lyrics. And yeah, it was really fun. This spread, I wanted to practice drawing hair because I always rush it, hate it, get really frustrated. So I forced myself to sit down and practice hair, and I only ended up doing 1 page of the spread. I gave up. So I still didn't really achieve the goal that I'd set for myself, but I am happy with how these 4 portraits turned out. And I just used a graphite pencil for these. And the right side was some concepts for a painting that I was working on. This next spread was a lot of fun. This was the first of Sophie McPike's Scribble Brigade that I took part in. She does a live stream on her channel once a month for the public, and this was one line blind contour drawings of silent movie stars. And I was so inspired by the references that I went back and did proper full portraits of all of the blind contour drawings that I did of those movie stars. And this was really, really fun. I just used a black fine liner and a Crayola super tip to just color around the edges. And I even placed them in the same locations on the page. So you'll see Marlene Dietrich in the blind contour drawing, and then the finished proper piece on the following page. And yeah, that was a really fun couple of spreads, and I love doing her live streams. And then there's that guy in the little bird cage. But that was really fun. And then one day I just got my paints out and decided to paint the pages and do some studies in paint markers. So on the left side of the page, I just use paint markers to do some lips, and I have a lip reference board on my Pinterest. Yeah, I'll link that down below in the description box. And this, I just did these for practice. And I kind of like the way they all look on the page. And then I just did some eye reference. I love doing makeup, creative makeup looks. I love drawing them. So they were really fun, and I love the way that spread looks. It's just nice and colourful. And I think this might be my favourite spread of the whole sketchbook. So again, I was listening to Cowboy Carter heaps, and then I just started looking up cowgirl references, and I love all the little motifs and all the little symbols like the horseshoes and the boots and lassos and stuff like that. So I just got my alcohol markers out and did a spread of cowgirls. So I did this in alcohol markers, and I used colored pencil just to finish it off, and I love everything on these two pages. I think they look amazing, and I want to draw even more. And I ended up doing my bullet journal in like a cowboy theme, cowgirl theme, and it's just really cute. I think this one's my favorite. She just turned out so cool. Profiles are hard, so I was happy with that one. And this outfit was just incredible. So I love that spread. And this page on the left was also a video about how to deal with marker bleed through. So that was just a little sketchbook hack about painting an opaque paint over the top and then painting over the top of that, and then you won't even know that you have any alcohol marker bleed through. And on the right, I was just studying some cats. So I've got cat reference on my Pinterest as well. And I was just doing some graphite studies of some cats. And I did this on a live stream on TikTok. Been trying to do that once or twice a week, just get used to it. Thinking about going live here on YouTube as well, but I don't know. TikTok's easy because I can just use my phone, but we'll see. I like the idea of doing it on YouTube because I can leave it up as like a full video. We'll see. The left side is some sketches for a concept for the painting that I'm working on. That canvas is in the background. And then I had some leftover paints in a palette after I was painting something, and so I just used the paint in splotches on the page and did some portraits in fine liner over the top, just so I didn't have to waste the paint. I've been painting with acrylics a bit more recently, and unlike gouache and watercolor, you can't reactivate them after they've dried, so I always feel like I have to use it up. So just using it up in the sketchbook this way was a really great way. And here we have entered my Chapel Roan era. I love her. I think she's so fantastic. I used to be a makeup artist, so I love doing strong makeup looks. I love drawing strong makeup looks. She is nailing strong makeup looks. And then I was watching a TikTok a couple of days ago and she came out on stage dressed as Divine from Pink Flamingos, and I was even more obsessed. So I think she's fantastic and love, 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 love her. And she was super fun to draw. I did this on a live stream as well. So, so fun. And it's such a cool, colourful spread. And then I just was like, I've done so many portraits. It was portraits and cats all through this sketchbook. So I decided to do some little fruit studies. And I just did these using coloured pencils. And I think these came out really, really good. A fig. I've never drawn a fig before. And I just used a grey gel pen around the outside and it kind of made them look a bit like stickers almost. I think the peach came out really well. So I just used coloured pencils, the grey outline marker and a little bit of white paint marker to do the highlights. Pomegranate and a kiwi. So this was a really fun, cute little colourful spread. And then another of Sophie McPike's Scribble Brigade, I can't say it, sessions. And this was drawing mythical creatures. And this was a really fun session as well. And I'm really going to try and make sure that I can participate in all of her live streams because it's really fun. And then the last page, and the last page I did another self-portrait. So I started with a self-portrait and ended with a self-portrait. And this is so soft and dreamy. And I think this was because I'd been to a party for one of my best friends the night before, and I'd seen a bunch of friends that I hadn't seen in so, so long, and it really rejuvenated and renewed me. And I feel like that's reflected in this portrait. And that's what I love about self-portraits is they capture how you're feeling in that moment without you even probably really realizing it at the time. And that's my sketchbook. I've definitely seen the benefits in my painting and my artwork from showing up consistently in my sketchbook and doing so much work in my sketchbook more frequently because I've got so many ideas at the moment and I've been doing heaps of painting. That one I'm about to start. And yeah, I just feel like I'm in a really great space at the moment with my artwork. And so I don't think it's a coincidence that I finished this so much quicker than my previous sketchbooks because I've just been wanting to show up to the page every day and do it consistently. My sketchbook's been a really great space for me to experiment with different ideas and write myself little notes and draw little concepts so I can make them into other things like my zine and the paintings and that sort of thing. So while I do have finished pieces in my sketchbook, I don't necessarily feel like your sketchbook should be this precious thing that you don't mess around in. It is supposed to be a safe space for you to experiment and try out different things. I hope you liked having a look at the things that I've been making over the last 4 months, and I hope this inspires you and gives you some ideas as well. And in addition to my big sketchbook, I also have this little mini that I've been keeping since the 1st of January, and this is a sketch a day, and I've been filming all of these and making these into shorts. So you might have seen me making these and posting these to shorts and to my TikTok. So this is another little sketchbook that I've kept in addition to this one. So I'm really surprised that me showing up and doing a sketch in this every day and then finishing my big sketchbook in 4 months, which is so much quicker than I finished the last one. I just think I'm just on a roll at the moment and really putting the effort into making sure I come into the studio and I show up and just get something on the page. every day. So it seems to be working for me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. I do lots of art subscription box unboxings and work in my sketchbook. I hope this video gave you some ideas for your own sketchbook and gave you some inspiration and things to experiment with and try. That would be amazing. Leave a comment and let me know what your favorite page in my sketchbook was. I would love to hear your feedback and your ideas. And yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.